What's up, folks? This is Crypto with James talking to you today about the Bitcoin news that we've seen across the conference. There's been some pretty good goddamn stuff in terms of the excitement and the potential for Bitcoin moving forward, and I want to cover all of that. Before I do, as always, I update the spreadsheet. These are the first 26 coins I've spoken about on the channel. First 26 coins I held. Had you invested $100 into each of these when I released videos about them, and you were still holding all that crypto, you would be in profit for over 40 grand. These are not the coins I hold anymore. And if you want to see exactly what I hold, you can come check out Copy My Cryptos, where I share every coin I buy, every coin I sell, and how I'm perceiving the markets on any given time. The other thing that I keep reiterating, guys, is if you're in this space for the long haul, identify the coins that you're excited about long term and write them down, log them somewhere. I do spreadsheets because I'm a nerd, right? But watch how they retrace when a bear cycle kicks in. Watch if they're hitting their long-term targets and their roadmap. Watch if they're building strong partnerships with other companies, with standard institutions, with governments. All these things are big factors. And, when we hit a bear cycle in crypto, the retracements are massive and you've got a real shot of getting some serious gains. Phantom was obviously the one I picked out as the best investment of the year. And it had hit all those key things, along with having an amazing team. And I'm really looking forward to the bear cycle. That's where you make your money. That's where you strengthen your wealth and build your wealth even more. Where the bear cycle kicks in, I'm going to be sharing the coins that I've been watching for the last few years, and I'll be watching how much they retrace and everything else. If I think they can 50x, 100x, like I said with Phantom, I'll share them with the members. So if you want to be a part of that, click the link in the description and check it out. Right. Start with Jack Mailers, because this ended up not being quite what we all expected. We expected Tesla, Apple. We expected Apple. We expected Apple to end up being a huge announcement that they were sort of stepping into crypto, and it's not. It's the Bitcoin is being integrated with Shopify, so anyone can take payments in Bitcoin. Now, that's an interesting one, and that's a big one. Bodes well. Like if you use Bitcoin for payments, it's big. I don't actually know anyone that uses Bitcoin for payments. That's that's sort of the caveat of this. Is while I think great, look, that's the opportunity for adoption on one of the biggest e-commerce platforms in the world. But I don't know anyone that uses Bitcoin to pay for things. People that have Bitcoin tend to have a long-term view of it as a long-term investment, as a store of value, not as a payment system, not as a payment solution. I'm not going to go to McDonald's and buy a hamburger with Bitcoin. I'm not going to buy jewelry or clothes on Shopify with Bitcoin. So it's big. It's a big deal because it does open up everyone to the potential and to the possibility of utilizing Bitcoin in their standard shopping. But how many people would? I suppose the upside is there's no fees, so people could look at it from that perspective and go, I'll use my Bitcoin. I don't have to pay a 3% fee on transaction costs or whatever. So maybe people will use it. I feel like it's a positive step that won't produce much. But I might be wrong. We will see, I guess. The big thing will be, in a year's time, how many millions of dollars of transactions have been done with Bitcoin through Shopify sites. That will be interesting. And I think this is a bit hyperbolic. I don't think it can supercharge an explosion in mainstream adoption for the Lightning Network. I don't see that. I don't see it as a use case. I don't see Bitcoin as being the thing I want to use to buy things. If I was going to use a crypto, I'd use a stable coin. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But it's certainly a big deal because it does it brings Bitcoin to the forefront of a massive market. Whether or not it's used or not, certainly brings eyes to the market. So there's something good there. But yeah, if it was Apple, I think it would have this would have had an impact on the market. As we can see, it's not really. The other two pieces of news, and these are friggin' massive. So first, I'll start with the SEC one, and then I'll talk about Tesla as well. So the SEC allowed another Bitcoin ETF. They've approved it. However, it's under the 1933 Securities Act, not the 1940. What this actually does is remove the SEC's argument for never having a Bitcoin spot ETF, because they've always said, the 1940 Act is why it offers security, it offers more consumer protection. This is why we've always allowed Bitcoin futures ETFs via the 1940s one. So the fact that they've approved it under the 1933 is a really odd thing, because they've just shot themselves in the foot on their biggest argument against a spot ETF. So now, companies like Grayscale, who have been really pushing for a Bitcoin ETF, a spot ETF, have pointed out that like situations must be treated alike, citing, well, to be fair, that was a Bloomberg analyst. But Grayscale are now really pushing on this agenda, and they've tweeted out, like the CEO and the company have tweeted out a lot about we should now have an approved spot Bitcoin ETF. And if that comes through, that's really positive for the market, because that's people that can just literally buy on the stock market. They could buy it Bitcoin, because you're buying the underlying value, you're buying the underlying asset. At the moment, we're in a situation where Bitcoin futures ETFs are allowed, so we can place bets on the future price of this asset, but because there's no spot ETF, we can't invest in the underlying asset through an ETF. Makes no sense. It's like, it would be like, it would be like me going, I'm going to invest in the future of Apple. I think they're going to go up. I'm longing it. We're going to invest in the future of Apple, because I can't actually buy the underlying asset of Apple, because that doesn't make sense. There's no logic to it. So a spot ETF is going to arrive. Presumably, it's going to arrive a lot faster now, because the SEC have literally ruined their argument for why a spot ETF couldn't occur. It's a very, very weird thing that we found ourselves in. And the final bit of news, this is, again, another big bit, is Block and Blockstream are partnering with Tesla on an off-grid solar-powered Bitcoin mine in Texas. This is, again, really big. So, Block and Blockstream, a company that makes Bitcoin infrastructure, partnering with Tesla on an open-source solar-powered Bitcoin mine. Tesla's 3.8 megawatt solar PV array and its 12 megawatt hour megapack will power the facility, and construction has started on the project. So they're excited to start the construction. Of course they are. This is a huge foray for all of these companies in terms of becoming a huge Bitcoin miner. They've pointed out that, look, we're mining it through renewables. We're mining it through solar power. It doesn't have the environmental impact that people have raised concerns about with Bitcoin over the past few years. It's Tesla's foray into Bitcoin mining, because obviously they'll get a share of it along with Blockstream and Block. Block used to be known as Square, obviously. They're now getting heavy into Bitcoin. So the plan is for the dashboard to be available 24/7 from any browser, providing the industry with a real-time case study of a zero-emission energy Bitcoin mine. So they're hitting all the target points. We're not destroying the environment. We're earning Bitcoin. It'll be very, very interesting to see once the facility is up and running, the amount of Bitcoin that they're producing and how their stocks are affected, how their stock prices are affected. But this could be a big move because it's in Texas as well. So you're looking at massive companies getting into Bitcoin, having a facility for mining in Texas. This opens the doors in terms of discussions within the Senate about the immediate use case and need for crypto in a big way when you're getting the biggest, Tesla are one of the biggest companies in the world doing it. So again, really strong to see. And fundamentally what we've seen from Bitcoin news this week is a lot of bullish sentiment. We've also seen Mexico looking at adopting. We've also seen the overall space feeling very, very positive, even while the market has taken a downturn. The fear and greed index has pretty much remained there in and around neutral. So yeah, in spite of a pullback that we've seen, markets, the general perception of the market and the general feeling and sentiment around the market seems to be generally not too bad. So yeah, it's been an interesting week. It's been a very, very interesting week. Guys, what do you think about the big pieces of news that we've seen? Do you think Shopify is a big deal? Do you think can you see people using it? It's a serious question. Like, can you see that many people using it? How many people do if you're a Bitcoin holder, would you be using your Bitcoin to buy stuff on Shopify? Let me know in the comments. What do you think that's the biggest deal that's happened in terms of Bitcoin? Is the biggest thing that Bitcoin, the Tesla are getting into the mining? Is it when Block are getting into the mining? Is it that Mexico are looking at adopting and Honduras are looking at adopting? Is it the Shopify? Is it the ETF? Let me know in the comments down below. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell notification so you know when content's coming out, guys. And that is it from me. If you're new to crypto or you've been in a while and you're not happy with your balance of your portfolio, you're not happy with what you're seeing, come check out Copy My Crypto. It's where I share everything I buy, everything I sell, how I'm perceiving the market at any given time. And I cannot wait for the bear cycle to share the coins that I think have enormous potential. And when they're retraced enough and I think they can 100x, I'm going to be damn sure sharing them with all the members. So if you want to be a part of it, click the link in the description and check it out. Anyway, take it easy, guys. Bye-bye.